April 30th, 2016. Looking at CERN from today, notice it says recovery, no beam, P8 transformer, repair ongoing. They're saying on mainstream outlets that a WEASEL got into the system, one of the most secure complexes on the planet, chewed through some wiring, and shorted out a very high voltage transformer. Notice everything's running at zero. Also, they're getting the cryogenics back down to about 1.9. See that? So they may be getting ready to crank this back up. But check this out. The beams were dumped. Notice that on the 28th. Look at last injection in the center there. These are amazing pictures. I've never seen anything. It looks like a background star field with objects in it. But this is when they dumped the beam, is what they're saying in beam 1. Now, they're still not showing us the live images, but they've been down. They've got to rebuild this transformer. Everything is out. You see this? No information. It's a good thing because they're planning to run 2,000 bunches at 450 gigavolts and 50 bunches at a time at 13 teravolts. Very strong, but something got in there. But remember to read between the lines. We look at the magnetopause starting today. We've had strong earthquakes since the 28th on the last video when I showed you the coronal mass ejection. We've had another ones from the same area, and I believe that has to do with our earthquakes. The one that I did in the last video and the newer one that struck the planet yesterday. But the magnetopause is in normal fashion. You saw that? That's good. Look at the quake, 6.8 Northeast Pacific rise. There. Guys, look how that's directly attached to the San Andreas fault. I've got this set at 4.5 quakes for the last 7 days. Notice the lack of activity that continues to remain through the Baja, through California, Washington, up through Cascadia. But that's a very strong quake that we're talking about. And we had the 7.0 on the 28th. That's when I did the video showing you that. Then the 6.6, now is what they've lowered this down to it. 10 kilometers, very shallow. Will that pressure continue to rise? I know I've said it before, but major scientists on the West Coast are saying that the Cascadia fault zone is overdue. Never forget that. That's not my warning. It's theirs. Now, the aftershocks have calmed down, but we did see 2 CMEs in the last 2 days, and those pulses trigger compression and energy into our magnetopause and into our planet itself via ground currents. Now, it's a new science, but we're watching this. Notice your timestamp. We'll go through this a couple of times. This is today. Let's go back to the 26th, 27th. Solar activity coming around from the top left. Watch that glow increase. Those are the flares that are coming around. Remember a few weeks ago that large, giant sunspot? It will be re-emerging within a week. It's still active on the backside. Top left corner again. This is where you're seeing that burst of energy that looks like a blowtorch. What you're seeing there is adjustments on the camera, probably after that first coronal mass ejection. When you go through that plasma density wave, it shifts everything. It shifts the compression effect on our planet, causing quakes. But you got a series of smaller sunspots across the surface right now. But again, we'll look at stereo A, which is in the same orbit of Earth, which Earth is 99 million miles away, or 1 AU, and you go on the other side of the sun in the same orbital path, you'll see stereo A at, again, 1 AU, the difference. What you're seeing here, again, are adjustments after the coronal mass ejection passes satellite. They go through these adjustments and readjust exactly where they're looking at. Notice that burst on the 28th. That caused the first quake. Watch in the top left corner. You'll see that filament rebuild near the same sunspot, reburst. It gave us the pulse there and the energy for the new quakes. Doesn't seem that large, but guys, that particular arc would hold dozens of our planet. So there's a lot of activity going on here. And again, don't forget what's coming back around. So when CERN quake cranks back up after this WEASEL that got in there, they said, destroyed that much power. What will happen with that re-emerging sunspot area coming around? Again, these are small, but they are creating disturbances, and you notice a couple filaments in the top right. Let's go 99 million miles on the other side of the sun. Stereo A. The sunspot that you're looking at on the right there, was that giant sunspot that gave us all the large flares and the quakes. Watch it very closely. You can see it's still very active. Now, stereo ahead is an older satellite. Watch these explosions. And it has been damaged by several coronal mass ejections and solar flares, so the images are not the best in the world. Now, these are just of today, but you can see the last couple of images to the top right. Remember, this is on the back side of the sun. We're on the other side, so it's appearing to be to the top left. This image goes back to the 27th. All of the stereo head images does not come in daily. That's showing that center sunspot. That's showing the area there, but that sunspot is the one that was so dangerous right there. So you've got about a 27.5 day rotation of the sun as far as the Earth-facing view. Now, mainstream is reporting that a WEASEL's encounter with the world's most powerful atom smasher didn't turn out that well for the complex machine or the animal. It says the LHC near Geneva, Switzerland was shut down Friday after WEASEL chewed through its wiring and caused a major power outage. Said the creature met its demise after nibbling on a wire connected to 66,000 volt transformer powering the collider. Now, guys, always read between the lines. Messages are on different levels. There's another name for a WEASEL, and the mob talks about it. People that come in and create havoc inside the organization. Said it's unclear why weasels or martens or other small mammals might munch on electrical wires, but it's not uncommon. Guys, again, one of the most secure locations in the world. Great. I mean, a weasel will have to go through immense trouble to go down one of those elevators and to get in one of those heavily fortified shafts. But remember, are we talking about wordplay here as we look at the sunspots on the planet? Nothing is magnetically configured at this point to become strong as far as solar flares, but they are reacting with the filaments. We also have, notice on the 29th, one volcano, 28th, two volcanoes, the 25th, one volcano, the 24th, 22nd, 20th, 17th, and 16th. These are eruptions. Most of these are on the Ring of Fire. Same place that the San Andreas Fault, the Cascadia Fault Zone is on. Notice the locations on them from Russia, Alaska, Japan, Mexico, Nicaragua, New Zealand, Indonesia, another New Zealand volcano. But don't forget, again, read between the words on this stuff. A weasel got into this complex. How did it do that? Do weasels go that deep into the earth, guys, over a football field depth? Are they talking about a mob-style weasel that snitches people out or either, again, throws a wrench into the gears? The Lord works in strange ways. But with the last two coronal mass ejections that I showed you on the top left coming in, it's a good thing that they were down because the Earth's shields were normal. We saw the compression on them, but they were fighting back. The way that our magnetopause works within the magnetosphere, it senses these solar flares and coronal mass ejections coming in, and it builds on that side of the planet. It's that simple. It's almost a living organism until man manipulates that, whether it was intentional or side effect of the experiments that is going on at CERN to try to open that other dimension, or whether it's a known result so that they can pull that power in through the magnetopause, again, into the Peterson currents, into the Hall currents, which are the ground currents that run through CERN underground that are directly tied into our sun. Again, the science books have not been written on this yet, but it's a heads up. We're watching it. Be safe.